Hello my dear students of class 9, this is Miss Susan, and today in this video I'll be taking up your English subject chapter 3 topic Subject-Verb Agreement, page number 42. Keywords. The keywords here are subject, verb and agreement. What is subject? The part which names the person or thing we are speaking about. Verb. It means action or state of being. Agreement, no contradiction or there is understanding. Okay, so this topic, the topic that we're going to discuss here today is subject and verb agreement. All right. Now, before we proceed, I'm sure you all know what is singular, right? It means one, and plural, more than one. Okay, now we will also learn about this noun and verb difference here. Now in nouns, in cases of noun, if you add an s to the existing noun, it becomes plural, right? Example, car, that's singular. If you put s, it becomes cars, right? Plural. Pen, you put s, it becomes pens, plural noun. Boy, boys. Girl, girls. Dog, dogs, right? But when it comes to verb, if you add s, okay, unlike noun, verb, that verb becomes singular verb. Okay, example, sings, jumps, is, has, climbs. These are all examples of singular verbs. Okay, plural verbs, you have to remove the s. So we have sing, jump, are, have, climb, and so on. So verb without s, plural. Verb with s is singular. Okay, noun with s, plural. Noun without s, singular. Okay, now subject and verb agreement. So what is it actually about? What does subject and verb agreement means? It simply means that if the subject is singular, the verb should be singular. Okay, if the subject is plural, the verb should be plural. So in this way they adjust accordingly, or they try to understand it and then form this connection in this manner. All right, so always keep in mind, if the subject is singular, verb should be singular. If the subject is plural, the verb should be plural. Now let's proceed to the first rule, and that is rule 1. So the first rule says that when the subject is formed by two or more nouns or pronouns and are connected by the word and, okay, the verb should be plural. Example, Sumit and Livingston love to play football. Alright, Sumit and Livingston, two nouns joined by the word and, right? Sumit and Livingston, two nouns, were joined by and. So you pick out the verb love and not loves. Okay, plural verb is love, that is without s. Now go to the next point, and that is point number 2. So point number 2 says that when a compound subject, okay, contains both a singular and a plural noun, or pronoun, and joined by the word or no, always keep in mind that the verb should agree with the part of the subject that is nearer the verb. Okay, so here example, the students or Miss Susan is here. Why is? Because the subject here is singular, right? Miss Susan is closer to the verb, so we take that. Okay, now when you go to the second example here, Miss Susan nor the students were present. So here the subject closer to the verb is the students, that is plural, right? That's why the verb that you pick should be plural, were. Okay, rule number 3 is very simple, that these two pronouns, that is I and you, all right, always take plural verb. Example, I don't know why you don't like gardening. Clear? So any kind of verb, if you come across this, then make sure that if you have the subject as I and you, okay, then make sure to pick up the plural verb. Point number 4. If a phrase or a clause comes between the subject and the verb agrees with the subject, not with a noun or pronoun in the phrase. Got it? Example, one of the boys is here. Now, one of the boys, that's a phrase. So, when you look here properly, you should try to question yourself and find out what is this phrase actually talking about the boys or one of them. So here it's clearly understood, one of the boys, right? One of them. So we use the verb is, that is singular. So subject one singular, so verb should be singular, is. Number 2, second example, the people who work hard are few. Now when you look here, it's a clause here now, who work hard. Now when you look here, what is this subject here? The people who work hard, it's the people, that is the subject, and this word or this subject is plural, so the verb that you pick should be plural. So the people who work hard are few. Point number 5 says that the words such as each, one, either, neither, everyone, everybody, anybody, anyone, nobody, somebody, someone, and no one are singular. Okay, and this kind of words don't need plural verb. You have to use singular verb. Example, each of the students is known to me. Neither is correct. Alright, now when you look in this, in case you come across this kind of sentence, either the caretaker or the students dash working. Okay, so if they give is or are in the bracket, then you have to keep this in mind. Don't think you saw the word either, so you give singular verb. No, here when you read the full sentence again, either the caretaker or the students. So there are two subjects and there are two nouns and they are joined by or. So remember, the verb will agree with the nearest subject, right? So students, the students is closer to the verb, right? So students plural, so the verb should be plural. Clear? Okay, now nouns such as civics, mathematics, measles and news require singular verbs. Okay, example, the news is good. Mathematics is Pelevito's favorite subject, and so on. So if you come across these nouns, make sure you use the singular verb. Point number 7. Nouns such as trousers, scissors, shears, tweezers, tongs, and so on. Okay, you should use plural verb because these things are two parts. There are two parts to these things, right? Tweezers, we have two parts, right? Tongs, we have two parts. Scissors, they have two parts. So you have to keep this in mind. The verb should be plural. Okay, so example, the tweezers are on the shelf. Tweezers, maybe we're just talking about one, but still since it has two parts, we will use the verb are on the shelf. Okay. Point number 8. In sentences, beginning with the word there. Okay, then in this kind of case, you have to follow the subject follows the verb. Okay, so you have to watch out for the word that comes after the verb. So example, if they give there dash 7 boys in the class, so here subject is right after the dash, 7 boys, right? So that's plural, that's why I go with are. Okay, Now the second one, there dash a boy in the class. So the subject here is a boy, and a boy means singular, so I went with singular verb. There is a boy in the class. All right. Now collective nouns. Collective nouns may take a singular verb or a plural verb depending on the context. Okay. Example, the class have eaten their tiffins. So which is the correct option here? It is have. Okay, the class have eaten their tiffin means each of the students in the class had their tiffins. Okay, so other way to help you around here is you can also find the last word mentioned there, tiffins. That's plural, right? So the verb that you choose, you can go ahead with plural verb. Okay, now when you go to the second point, the class have won the match. Here you will go ahead with has. The class has won the match. Okay. Now expressions such as with, together with, including, accompanied by, in addition to, as well. So all these words, if you come across these expressions, keep in mind to ignore the subject that comes after them, means that comes after the word with. Okay, together with, including with, accompanied by. No, if any subject comes after them, just ignore them. Give more emphasis on the subject that was mentioned before these words. Okay, example, the students together with the teacher have arrived. All right, here you see the word together with, so this is the expression where you have to ignore the subject that follows, right? So here the students, that's plural, so we go with have arrived. Okay, now the next one, the teacher together with the students has arrived. Why did I use singular verb has here? Because the subject here is the teacher and not the students. Okay, the main thing that we are talking about here is the teacher. All right, so in this way you have to solve this subject verb agreement. Okay, solutions. Okay, now that's all for today. Thank you class, I hope you have learned something.